I used to love my morning coffee until it stopped loving me back. The bloating, the discomfort, it just wasn't worth it anymore. Then I found Everyday Dose, coffee with benefits. It's real coffee blended with mushrooms, collagen, and nootropics. Now I get my morning ritual without the crash or the discomfort. The Black Friday sale is on. Get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit, a free A2 probiotic creamer, and over $100 in free gifts. Plus, you could win $100 cash or even get your entire order refunded. Head to everydaydose.com/podcast or use code podcast at checkout.
And you can at least 75% lock in. All righty, welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Tuesday evening. We are without Brian tonight. He's got some homework to do because he's got a big boy job. Because you gotta do homework if you want to be rich like Bryant. So so no Bryant tonight, but he'll be back with us next week. Before we get started, before we hit the intro, I want to say Happy Veterans Day to the veterans, especially Simon and Bryant, who are both veterans from the military. Simon, who's still actively participating in the military. So I want to say Happy Veterans Day to everybody that has served in any of the branches of the military, not just the Army, before we hit the intro. So,
welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so jumping right in, and we're going to start with the recap of the Packers game against the Eagles from last night. Obviously not an ideal situation, losing 10-7, losing by 3 points at home in back-to-back weeks, one against a bad team, one against a good team. Would have been nice to win at least one of the two, and in an ideal world win both. But some really good things, and we typically are bad news first people and good news second people, but today we're doing the good news first, which is the defense. We're going to start with the defense and starting with the pass rush.
Yeah, pass rush. This was a slobber knocker of a game. I was in attendance, unfortunately. Fortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I was at Lambeau Field. So, I sound like a first world problem whiner when I say that kind of stuff. And I don't mean to sound like that, but it was just a tough watch in the offensive end. But pass rush-wise, we had 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits. We did have 13 pressures. Micah had 7, Gary had 2, Cooper, Stackhouse, Enagbari, and Wyatt had a single pressure apiece. Micah Parsons, a lot of his pressures came from inside moves over the right tackle that came in for Lane Johnson. And it left outside contained to be desired, as Jalen Hurts would just move out that way and, he'll scramble for a few yards or extend plays and complete some passes. But the pass rush has got to get home. And this is really why I wanted a D tackle at the trade deadline, is because we need another guy that can get a push from the inside that's going to help when those outside guys can rush up the field, push the quarterbacks to those two guys. I'm talking Gary and Parsons, obviously. But pass rush, I don't really have any complaints. They didn't really do a bad job, but they just didn't get home.
Yeah, and I feel somewhat similarly when it comes to the D-line. Obviously, they're a big part of that. 12 of the 13 pressures that the Packers generated did come from the defensive line. So, there's some good things to be said for that. It was really good to see Barron Sorrell make a play against the run early. He actually had 2 pretty good run stops in the 7 snaps that he played. He was actually the Packers' highest graded player. I will throw the asterisk in there. That is a very tiny sample size for him to play 7 snaps. Devontae Wyatt made a really huge second down tackle for loss in the third quarter to help force a 3-and-out. I said to some people today talking about the game, outside of the fact that obviously, a fumble cost the Packers a chance at 3 points, which the same thing happened to the Eagles in the first half. It was a pretty good football game. Yeah. It's one of those, like, obviously at the Packers win, you can look back and be like, man, that was a defensive slugfest in a game where all of the rules and, the officiating and penalties, they all favor offense. It was kind of interesting to see a defensive battle. It's kind of one of those things where, like, once in a while, Jake and I will be talking about the Brewers, and once in a while there will be a 1-0 pitchers duel, and it'll be like, all right, it's different. It's refreshing once in a while. Yeah. To not just see, all these penalties just racking up all these yards and stuff like that. So Some good things there. I'll let Simon jump into the run defense before we talk about linebackers and tackling.
Yeah, speaking of good things, I thought the Packers' run defense looked pretty good. You held, the former league leader in rushing yards to 22 carries for only 60 yards. He only forced 3 missed tackles and 1.4 yards after contact per attempt. So that means basically when they hit him, he wasn't going anywhere else. Like that's not Saquon. He's good for more than a few missed tackles a game and really having like carrying guys down the field for a few extra yards. And that's just not what happened last night. I thought overall, Eagles carried the ball 34 times for 111 yards, and Cooper forced the forced fumble on Jalen Hurts in the red zone, which was huge. That kept them off the board. And then we had 22 stops as a team, according to PFF. Also, I thought Quay Walker did a hell of a job last night. His average depth of tackle was 1.7 yards, which is extremely good. I thought in run defense, this might have been his best game of the year. But overall, I thought the run defense did well. I mean, the Eagles' offensive line is pretty good. They're pretty good. Lane Johnson ended up going out for a little bit and coming back, but overall, I thought the run defense really held their own last night, and that's something that we talked about as a predictor was shutting down Saquon, which they did for the most part. He had that one really long catch where Valentine missed a tackle, but I mean, open field Saquon's still going to get his, in my opinion.
Steve said the same thing in the comments. He said Saquon's able to go for 150 on any given Sunday. It's great effort to minimize his output, which is absolutely true. As far as the linebackers and tackling is concerned, like I said, 12 out of 13 pressures came from the D-line. The 13th came from Edgerrin Cooper. Cooper and Quay, I thought, were both really good. The one thing I'll say with Cooper, then this is a nitpicky kind of thing. When it comes to coverage, I feel like Cooper is dropping back a little bit too far in some of his coverages, and it's allowing that behind the D line and ahead of the second level. It's allowing a lot of space for running backs and tight ends to operate. I feel like that's one of those things where Cooper is trying, and this could be a Hafley coached thing. They're trying so hard to prevent the big play that they're almost opening themselves up to a weakness in the middle of the field right there. Cooper is fast enough, athletic enough that I'm okay with daring quarterbacks to try to throw a blooping pass over his head than to allow an easy one in front of him because Cooper is behind the sticks. So that's a nitpicky thing I'll say on the linebackers. Other than that, the Packers defense as a team forced 3 throwaways. They had good pursuit. They only missed 4 tackles as a team, which is brilliant. The unfortunate thing is that one of the missed tackles did allow a 41-yard play that set up the Eagles' touchdown. So a very low missed tackle rate, but one that kind of came back to really bite them. So, Jake, how did you feel about the Packers on 3rd and 4th down defense?
Yeah. So, Loud 7 of 16 overall. The Eagles, they were 0 for 2 on 4th down, which was a breath of fresh air. Before their 7 third down conversions were on the first drive, actually. In the first half, they were 1 for 2 on 3rd and short, 1 for 2 on 3rd and medium, and they were 2 for 4 on 3rd and longs. One of the third downs that they picked up, they technically did convert it, but it was a fumble. That was the fumble that happened. That was just a really nice play. And in terms of third downs in the second half, 1 for 1 3rd and short, 2 for 2 3rd and medium. So when they were getting in those 3rd and medium, 3rd and shorts, a couple of them were picked up by the legs of Jalen Hurts, but that's where you're talking about with the soft zone. I was actually going to talk about that too, especially on 3rd down. There was one where because I have when you're at the stands, you kind of just have the all 22 live. It's fucking awesome, dude. It's the best thing ever. So I'm sitting there and I'm just watching, I might sound like a nerd, but I like watching the players move and how they're communicating. This guy's telling this guy, hey, you move here, you move here. You don't get that full experience off the TV, obviously, right? So like when I'm there, that's why I don't like to drink and I don't want to leave to go to the bathroom. Like I just want to stay in my seat. I'm not a big drinker in the first. I just want to experience the whole thing, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I just watch Quay and Cooper just go like this, and then there's just a soft zone right in the middle, and I feel like that's why their numbers against tight ends are so bad.
I strongly agree.
The first one that they picked up was actually Devonta Smith that they threw over the middle right there, and I was like, ooh, that was actually a nice play call by Sirianni to have Devonta Smith just sit in the zone right there, because you're worried about him going deep, right? Because he's really a deep threat when you think about it. But that's my one nitpick too, is that middle zone is that's where they get hurt a lot. But if that's the only area where the defense gets hurt, I mean, honestly, that was a nice catch by Devonta Smith on that touchdown too. That was the one good pass I thought Jalen Hurts threw last night.
Yep.
So I mean, it is what it is. He still is a professional. So, excuse me. Overall, having 9 of their 16 attempts be from 8 yards or more, you're putting yourself in an advantageous situation. So, especially with this defense, I thought they did everything they could to help the Packers get a win. But Jalen Hurts was responsible for picking up first downs on third downs 7 times, 5 of them with his arm. So it is what it is.
Have another Steve in the comment section saying the defense overall was great. Don't know how to describe the offensive performance, just not good. And we'll get to the offense when we're done with the defensive part of it. But Simon, how did you feel about the secondary?
Yeah, overall, I thought the secondary played pretty well for the most of the night. I think just going back and talking about the only touchdown catch of the night, I mean, it wasn't like Evan Williams was way out of position or anything. I thought he had a chance to make a play on the ball. I think Smith just made a better play on the ball, catching it for a touchdown. Other than that, I thought Carrington Valentine, this might have, outside the missed tackle, this was his best game in coverage this year. I thought he was sticky.
1 catch for 7 yards.
Yep.
Is that accurate?
1 for 7. I thought he was pretty sticky the whole night. He was targeted 5 times, and he was pretty much right there every single time. It wasn't like Jalen Hurts just overthrew the guy or whatever. He was right there on the ball. Nixon had allowed 2 catches for 25 yards. But I mean, it wasn't like Jalen Hurts was in a rhythm the whole night either, or it never seemed like it to me. So I don't know. I just thought, I thought the secondary played wonderfully.
Let me add in real quick. I think Nixon had 2 really good pass breakups.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yep.
The one on that second to last drive, I believe it was, when they tried to throw a little out to Goddard, for him to jump in front of that, I was like, holy cow. And he almost picked one early in the game too. So I thought Nixon played really well. The defense overall, this was pretty close to their best performance of the year, outside of not getting any pressure on Hurts. If they would have got a couple sacks, the Eagles would not have scored.
Yeah. And honestly, even losing the game, like obviously a lot of the conversation is about the defense, but they only allowed 10 points to a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
Another part of this I'll say is Evan Williams, I think, actually had a pretty good game. I think he was actually pretty good against the run.
He was very good against the run.
And I think one questionable penalty against the secondary that, the Packers couldn't get the same call, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Jake, how did they do in the red zone?
Honestly, you can't have any complaints. You only allowed them to get there 1 time, and the other time that they got there, they were right outside the red zone. They were at the 24. That was the forced fumble that happened. But they only got to the red zone 1 time, and you held them to a field goal. So you can't really have any complaints about it. I thought the tackling was great. I thought the coverage was great. I thought everything was great. Like I said before, I'm going to sound redundant, just 1 good pass. And I feel like that's a theme this year. And I've brought that up before. I feel like it's just 1 perfect pass and one insane catch is how you score in this defense, which if that's all you have to score, I mean, I feel pretty good. This is a Super Bowl defense for Green Bay. Yes. And that is the sole reason why anybody who's a Packers fan right now should still have hope that they could turn it around. Because this defense is still going to ball out. And there's still plenty of time. Guys, we're in week 10. They play 17 weeks. We still have 7 weeks to figure this out. This isn't like week 15 and we fell to the 7th seed and now we have to fight for our lives to hold on to that. We have 7 weeks. We have 5 divisional games. A lot of things are going to change over the next 6 weeks. I mean, we play the Giants, and then we start a gauntlet of 3 straight division games. So things are going to get funky, okay? And this defense is going to show up. I know that for a fact. And when we had Micah Parsons traded to this team, and we watched him play the first week, and then we watched him play on Thursday, and we were all worried about his back, but the defense is balling out. There's one thing that we took away from it. He just breathes confidence into everybody. So if he's telling me after the game, when everybody's in shambles, and I'm hearing people talk about how Jeff Hafley should be the head coach and all this other stuff, if he is telling me to not worry and not stress because they're going to win football games, guess what? I'm going to listen to that guy because he's in the locker room and he's in control.
Yeah, I have no problem listening to that guy.
Yeah, no, he makes a lot of sense.
So even if Bryant were here, we wouldn't have a rant on special teams. They did their job. I mean, Bryant's main concern was if the Packers were willing to send out McManus for a 64-yard field goal at the end of the game, why weren't they willing to send him out for a 59 or a 57-yarder in the middle of the game, which is a fair question. I will say the situations are different. Like I'm not saying that I was against trying some of the field goals. If you're willing, like I said, if you're willing to try 64 at the end of the game, why not try 59 or 57 at some point? To which, I understand that if you're thinking at 59 or 57 that McManus might not have the leg for it in an outdoor game, which is just a reason to have let McManus sit out the last couple of weeks and this week yet, and let Haversick kick after he showed you 2 really good games. And obviously he's good enough to not drop him. Why not use him? So I think that's a fair question. I will say I'll hold on to it for the coaching aspect of it, but with special teams specifically, they averaged 25.7 yards per kick return, which is pretty decent. They averaged 11 yards on the 2 punts that Romeo Doubs returned. And then they held Philadelphia's average starting field position at the 28.5-yard line, which I think is also pretty good. Daniel Whelan had 5 punts. 2 of them were touchbacks, so I think Whelan was okay, but I think he has an opportunity to be better.
Did you guys think that
jump into the offense? We got to do it. So,
at first, yeah.
They said that he didn't establish himself, but I thought the rule was that if once you get 2 feet in the field of play, that you're established back into the field of play.
He didn't, though. He went over the line. He's talking about the touchback that wasn't a touchback.
Yeah, that was a touchback.
Okay, my understanding was your understanding. Like, if he doesn't establish himself outside the end zone, then he's still technically in it.
Yeah.
Which he didn't, because his foot was still on the line.
Like, if you get 2 feet back in and then touch the ball, you're fine. But
so
he had 1 foot fully in the end zone, another foot kind of like touching the line, and then he touched the ball.
Okay, you guys know how they do at Lambeau, where they don't really show you like the good angles or like a split touch. So
they gave the pylon view, and he was definitely in the end zone.
Okay. I'll calm down then, because I was looking at, because obviously you see it and you're like, oh, he's
same, in. Yeah. I thought the same thing at first, and then when they explained it, I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll calm down then. I just have one more question about special teams to put it out there into the universe. I texted it to you guys. Why do you have 2 kickers on roster, and one guy's telling Troy Aikman before the game that he's been playing hurt, but then you still have a guy who's healthy on the roster and has the franchise record 61-yarder, which is literally only 3 yards longer than what we would have tried to tie the game? That makes 0 sense to me. And then LaFleur is coming out saying, I don't talk to kickers. Brother,
I mean, that was a joke.
Vibes very badly right now.
That was a joke. You know how it's like superstitious to not talk to kickers. That's what
I know, but it looks bad right now. It looks real bad.
Yeah, I guess.
People are gonna be like, oh, McManus has missed a kick 3 weeks in a row, and the one that he missed this week is gonna be a 64-yarder as time is expiring as basically a Hail Mary with the foot. Like I said, I'll talk about the decision to kick the field goal in the first place. I'm gonna hold that for the coach. Let's go to the offense and start with tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this offense really misses Tucker Kraft. It sucks. I thought Musgrave played so though. I mean, he had 3 catches for 23 yards. He got open a little bit. I thought overall the blocking by the tight ends was pretty good. I thought they both, really all 3 of them made some good blocks in the run game, and then they were pretty good at pass protection too. So we'll take that. Musgrave's not a blocking tight end, and it showed in how they utilized him this week. I think he had 3 pass blocking snaps, and he took the majority of the snaps throughout the game. And I think the Packers really moved away from like 12 personnel as well. With Kraft down, I think they're running into a lot of 11 personnel. And you'll see it, and it sucks too because her wide receivers are hurt now.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're looking really thin too. So it'll be interesting to see what they do versus the Giants and how they implement personnel.
Yeah, it's a really rough situation. Like looking at the receiver room, and it's obviously you can't help it on game day, but losing Dobbs through the game, Wicks seemingly like potentially on like a snap count, it kind of felt like.
Yeah.
And then
having to use Bo Melton.
Playing, Brad said no number 1 receiver is hurting this team. I mean, the number 1 wide receiver got hurt.
Yep. I mean, when
Packers' best pass catcher is Tucker Kraft.
Yep.
Romeo Dobbs he's
good.
He's good. He's really good, but he got hurt too. It's Brandon. It's nothing to be pressing the panic button about, but there's absolutely reason to be frustrated about stuff.
Yeah. It's just super tough when you're talking about the losses. Overall, it's a lot, and it's a lot for this offense to overcome at this point. I mean, you lose Jaden Reed for most of the year. Watson's there, but I mean, he can only do so much when the guys behind him aren't. Yep. So I mean, I get the frustration. I really do. It's frustrating watching this offense right now not live up to their potential. Yeah. But if you look at it holistically, like I don't know a lot of other QBs that would be really great in this offense right now either.
Yeah, that's fair. So I'm hoping whether it's health or workouts of some sort, I need somebody as a better option than Bo Melton and Malik Heath.
Yeah.
The Bo Melton drop that was on a 4th down, Malik Heath running into Josh Jacobs on a route at one point, like those are 2 massively important plays that ended up going against the Packers. Like obviously a drop, but then Love is looking for Jacobs, who's about to be coming across the middle, and then he has to pull up because Malik Heath's about to run into him.
Yeah, I thought that. We are on wide receiver. I thought that deep ball to Christian Watson. I really can't understand why he really just made a play on the defender versus the ball. I'm not saying it was an easily catchable ball or anything, but I think he could have made a play on that ball if he just turned his head and outstretched his arms. And maybe that's my point of view on what I saw.
Watson himself said that he should have.
Okay, I missed the interview or whatever.
This morning. Yep.
I was like, dude, what are you like? At first looking at it, I was like, oh, like good defensive play by Watson. But then I rewatched it. I was like, dude, like I just can't understand why you didn't try to make a play on the ball better.
There was a podcast that said, should Christian Watson have made a play on this ball, or like should Christian Watson have tried to make a catch on this ball? And Christian Watson himself quote tweeted it and said yes. Yeah,
I mean, it's just it was. I'll wait because I have a lot to say on that.
As far as the passing game distribution goes, 8 different players were targeted. All 8 of them had a reception. Dontavian Wicks and Josh Jacobs led the team with 6. Dobbs still had 7, and then he was banged up. Brad asked the question, why don't we run more motion like we did when Reed was healthy? Going to be honest with you, there's really not a guy that they have to play that role.
Yep.
Like all of their slot guys are hurt. The 2 guys that you'd want running that route or that role are Reed and Golden.
Well, not to mention they can't even freaking line up correctly in the first goddamn place.
Oh,
We'll talk about that too. But that's on Octavian Wicks. But
yeah, my face is starting to get warm as we get closer to the coaching. I'm so mad right now, dude. I had to listen to a lot of meditation music at work today, too.
As far as the distribution down the field goals, Love was 7 for 7 behind the line of scrimmage, 8 for 11 behind the line. So only 18 passes from 9 yards in this week. It wasn't 25 or 26 like it was the 2 previous games. 4 for 8 from 10 to 19 and 1 for 4 from 20 plus, and a drop in each one of those.
And
so
a
if we're
penalty.
talking about Jordan Love being 5 for 8 on 10 to 19 on those intermediates and 2 for 4 on the 20 plus deep balls, I'd feel better. I would feel much better if those balls were caught.
And a penalty.
You add in the one that Romeo Doubs had on his fingertips. If you ask Romeo Doubs, it's probably a catch he's telling you he should.
Same.
Thinking about the one against the Seahawks in the back of the end zone last year when they're wearing the all-white uniforms, it's a very similar catch. Obviously, he doesn't have a defender right in front of him, but a very similar catch where he's outstretched, catching the ball with his fingertips. It feels like a ball that Romeo Doubs could have caught. And then, you add in the Christian Watson deep ball that he kind of went and played defense on. We could be talking about Jordan Love being 3 for 4 and the Packers going into overtime if Watson goes and gets that ball. And I trust Watson in those situations because he's made those catches before.
Yep.
So it's a bummer, and it's obviously losing sucks, but there's still opportunity here. Like I said, there's no reason that like a panic button should be pushed here, but it is frustrating because you know that they're capable of being better. And I feel like the O-line is kind of similarly. Like the offensive line, I would say, is like meh at best. Yeah. They allowed 17 pressures versus only 9 blitzes. Aaron Banks had a penalty, and we had one with Darian Kennard in as the 6th offensive lineman, which is more on Dontavian Wicks for covering that up. But that's to Jake's point that's on the coaching aspect of it, which we'll get to. And then you look at as far as the running game, which Simon's going to go into, but Josh Jacobs only had 18 yards before contact on 21 rushes. So you're talking not even a yard per rush before contact.
Ooh, I have a nasty stat for that.
All right. I'll let you make it. And then we get to the point where Elgton Jenkins gets hurt, and now we're playing with a backup center also, which I will say I think Sean Ryan was fine.
Sean Ryan is better at center, and Elgton Jenkins is better at guard. I don't know what they were doing.
They added Aaron Banks in hopes of being able to run the ball better.
I know what it was. They watched the Packers offensive line get fucking bullied in the wild card last year to the same Eagles, and they're like, "Yeah, we need beef up front."
Yeah,
that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
All right. So Simon, run game.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay. I know that sounds after we just talked about the O-line, and you maybe heard us talk about their run blocking this whole year as being less than ideal. I mean, Josh Jacobs still makes stuff happen sometimes. He had 21 carries for 74 yards, a touchdown, forced 4 missed tackles, 56 yards after contact after contact. He did have a fumble. I mean, those things are just going to happen. I'm not worried about Josh Jacobs fumbling the ball. It's not something I really worry about. Wilson had a carry for 2 yards, and Love, I thought, scrambled decently well. He had 5 for 28. Unfortunately, he did have 2 fumbles as well. He's just got to hang on to the ball a little bit better. I'm not the one in the pocket. I'm not super concerned about. I know people don't like it, but he tried to get the ball to Josh Jacobs in a pretty decently open field in front of him. Unfortunately, he just took a hit at the wrong time behind him. It's not something he could see or something he ran into. I think it was just like an unfortunate play or like a good play by the Eagles defense. Here it is. Here's the stat I had. Outside the red zone, Jacobs has recorded a career low 0.8 yards before contact. and has been hit behind the line of scrimmage career high 42.7% of the time. I mean, that can't happen. And the other thing too is like I think Josh Jacobs is Jordan Love's taking the ball under center on like 53% of Josh Jacobs runs, which is up from 35% last year. It's just a lack of interior offensive line play in the run game is really killing this in the run game in general. The guys aren't able to find a hole quick enough to burst through it. Yep.
Good idea.
Play action.
It's the same idea I've had for 4 fucking weeks. We'll get to that. But yes, that is my consistent idea.
Yeah.
Jake, how'd you feel about 3rd and 4th down offense?
Well, that just hurt my feelings. Josh Jacobs is going to end up with 1,005 rush yards with 20 rushing touchdowns, which is going to be amazing to see on the stat sheet. But 3rd down offense, they were all right, I guess. 5 for 13 overall. 1 for 3 on 4th down. They converted their first 4th down. They were 0 for 1 in the first half on 3rd and short. They had 0 attempts from 3rd and medium, and they were 0 for 4 on 3rd and longs. The first 3rd and long was a 3rd and 20 because Jordan Love literally, I don't know what he was doing on that first one, spinning directly into the defensive end. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Whatever. The next one was a 3rd and 13. Love got 12 yards. I thought he got the extra yard, but it is what it is.
He didn't.
He didn't?
I saw it on the TV. It was short.
I looked. Oh, dude, I don't know. I thought they gave a bad spot, to be honest with you, when I was watching.
He was like this far short.
He spun and like his butt hit and the ball. Yeah, like Simon said, it was probably.
Was it like down by his waist or something like that?
No,
it was in his chest.
Arm, but like his helmet would have been past the line.
Oh,
like when his butt touched, he was probably like 5-6 inches short.
Oh, okay. Not 6-7 inches short though.
No.
So, anyways. Directly after that is when they did the quarterback sneak, and it was a regular quarterback sneak, and I started screaming at Eagles fans, yeah, we don't need other men to touch our quarterback's butt to pick up a 1st down on a quarterback sneak. And they all looked at me, and I did not give one damn. And then we had a 3rd and 8 and a 3rd and 8 that we didn't convert in the first half. Second half, they had 2 attempts, 3rd and short. They converted both. They converted the 3rd and medium, so they were pretty good on 3rd. The offense, I thought, it's going to sound crazy, but I thought they looked better in the second half. Like they actually started getting a little bit of traction, a little bit of footing. There was a little bit of identity. They converted 2 3rd and longs. So just a messy. My actual consensus of this game is that the Packers defense was the reason that the Eagles offense was struggling, and the Packers offense was the reason that the Packers offense was struggling. Offensive line play was bad. Pre-snap penalties were bad. Dropping passes when we needed to have them was bad.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody feels that way, right?
Yes.
Like I feel like we're holding
you're definitely wrong about everyone feeling that way.
Everybody should then. Because
us three feel that way.
I will give a sliver of credit. The Eagles do have a good defense. I will say they probably have one of the better defensive lines in the NFL.
Well, and Nolan Smith comes back.
And one thing we have to give credit to the Eagles defense for is Jalen Phillips was a really good pickup for them.
Yeah.
I was so
he looked good.
I like him too. So it's like, why do you have to go to fucking Philadelphia? Like, I like you. Why Philly?
Yeah, you were fine in Miami. Still living a good life down there, brother.
I know, but he plays for the Eagles now.
I know. Trust me, I saw him make a bunch of plays.
I know. So
he looked good.
All right, let's play the trick game. The Packers were 100% on scoring in red zone opportunities.
Yes,
100%. They were 1 for 1 in red zone opportunities. The Eagles are a very good red zone defense. That said, I was hoping for at least 3 opportunities or 4 opportunities in the red zone. Had 1. There was another one that was wiped out by the illegal formation. That would have been a 22-yard pass to Christian Watson that would have had them into the red zone. That hurts. That's a formation penalty. It's not even like it's an effort penalty, like a holding or a face mask or something like that. That's just a brain penalty.
Yep.
That's just not being in the right place before the ball is snapped. That's the kind of stuff you can't have happen if you want to go deep in the playoffs. So that's all I got for red zone. Now we can do the coaching, the time of possession thing.
Let's talk time of possession first.
Final possession first?
Yeah. No, the time of possession.
Oh, time of possession. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even really write down much for time of possession.
Okay, perfect. We can move on to the important part.
With it, obviously, this is another game where the game got shortened. There's really only 2 main possessions in the first and third quarters. Yep. And I think both defenses handled it well. But looking at it, I'm going to be honest with you. The first half to me felt like run, pass, punt. Yeah. The entire first half felt like run, pass, punt. And I'm going to bring up play action, and I'm going to bring it up in a bunch of places today. But I wanted to give you guys a chance to talk about things. Like it was early. LaFleur was being aggressive on fourth down. I like that. I think Bryant kind of said something where, Matt LaFleur likes to say that he's an all gas, no brakes, scared money don't make money type thing. But I feel like that's only like once every few games. And then he's like, okay, people think I'm aggressive again. And then he's conservative for a couple of games. And then he's aggressive again in like a primetime game. And then he's like, okay, people are going to think that I'm aggressive because I was aggressive in a primetime game. So more people are going to see it and think I'm aggressive. It's kind of how it feels. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to say some of the things that you guys want to say before we get into like some of the specific possessions and calls. So Simon, what do you want to say?
Just vaguely overall, and we kind of hit on it a lot, is like, and I kind of talked about it a little bit last week, is we can blame Matt LaFleur for a lot of things, and I can understand where a lot of people are coming from. First, he's not getting fired this season. It's just not happening. Probably not. There's not a chance. Even if the Packers
like 4 or 5 games in a row.
No, even if they lose out, he's not getting fired midseason. It's not the Packers' way. They're not going to do it. There's no way.
Of the season.
Yes, but I think that was a little bit different situation, in my opinion, where I don't know. I think I see it very differently. Where I think McCarthy had a couple seasons, and then it just turned into we need to move on. Where Matt LaFleur is coming off of 2 playoff seasons in a row, and he did win a playoff game 2 years ago. At least that's the way I view it. That's just off the top of my head. I don't think it's happening. I think. Hold on, Jake. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that we don't know how policy runs. He might not run like typical Packers way. So
correct.
That's the only thing I wanted to say to that. Keep going.
Yeah, Brad just mentioned it too.
Yep, that's fair.
Okay, maybe. I can't see it. I don't think it's going to happen, especially sitting. Like I said, even if we lose out, I don't think it's going to happen this season. I also don't think we're going to lose out. So there's that. But Matt LaFleur does come with fair criticism. But dang, you got to execute some of these plays and stuff. The 2 drops killed. The Christian Watson thing happened. The couple really dumb penalties on pre-snap. Those things kill you, and it just seemed like those were like drive killers to us, and we couldn't make it up.
In the shrunken game, closer score games, that stuff it glares much.
Yeah, 100%.
The Bengals game, for example, it doesn't show up as much in those games because the ball is flowing, the ball's moving, versus in these kind of more grinded out games. Yeah. That's fair, Brad. Brad said that getting Parsons wasn't a Packer way either. That's fair. Anything else you wanted to say, Simon?
That was kind of the main thing as far as Pack. So we'll go through some individual things.
All right, Jake.
So, stop me if you heard this before, but blank give credit to the other team. Give credit to Philadelphia. They really did a nice job stopping this play. I gotta be better. We can't make these kind of mistakes. I forced myself not to listen to this goddamn.
Oh, I don't.
This week. And then I didn't turn on sports radio for the first half of my day, and I shit you not, the first goddamn thing I hear on the radio is this press conference. And I was like, they're haunting me. They're doing this on purpose, dude. It's the next thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to rip Matt LaFleur down before I build him back up, because that's how I like to operate.
Bad news first.
People need to apologize to Aaron Rodgers, because when Rodgers left town, and there was a report that came out, and they talked about how Rodgers would change a bunch of plays that LaFleur would call in. People were like, oh, classic egotistical Aaron Rodgers. He just thinks he knows more than the coach. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the last 2 weeks, I'm siding with 12. Kind of looks like he knew what he was fucking doing.
So I get where you're coming from, but the people that would need to apologize for him,
I know.
They're not going to. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's a diva.
I know. And they don't like him for all the wrong reasons. And I understand all that stuff.
Yeah.
I do still think that LaFleur is a good coach. Deep down, I really do. I believe that. Now, I have to say one other thing about a guy, and I don't want to call him out by his name or by, he's got a big brand. But to sit here and tell me before the game that this was not a big game, this was not a measuring stick game, is ridiculous. Because I don't think that people have heard or understand what the word momentum means. And getting a win versus a team that owned you twice last year, won the Super Bowl, you're coming off a bad loss, that could create a thing called momentum. Okay? That's a good thing. And Matt LaFleur needs positive momentum right now. He needs – now, I understand that people, Tucker Kraft was having a good year and they think that he's number one and all that stuff. Why can we not run a slant with our 6'5" wide receiver? Why can we not run a jump ball with our 6'5" wide receiver? Why is he only running fucking verticals? I am so goddamn annoyed with how he uses some of these guys. You're telling me that Christian Watson cannot run an in route, bro? He did run an in route, and guess what? He caught it. Oh, and he ran a corner route. Oh, my God, he caught it. It was only negated by a penalty. You are limiting these players to certain roles and shrinking the impact they can have in the game.
Yep.
That is my biggest takeaway. Josh Jacobs is a freaking monster for making anything out of what we're seeing from this trash offensive line lately. The offensive line is getting dog walked 2 weeks in a row. And the Panthers are, I wouldn't call them a good team, but I'm also not jumping on the train with everybody and calling them a bad team, because there's a
They're
lot
a very, very average team.
They are very much an average team. But the strength of their team on defense is the front seven and the D tackles. And foreshadowing to what we're going to be seeing on Sunday at 12 o'clock, by the way.
Yeah.
And we might run into the same goddamn issues. The only difference is that New York doesn't have the run game that Carolina has. We'll get to that later as well.
True. Brad said, I'm not sure if he's tough enough, X's and O's. I think he's good. I don't think it has to do with toughness. I make a lot of jokes about it too. I don't think that he's not tough. He does need to be a little bit tougher on the players, because we cannot have multiple we don't know how to line up in French. Yeah. I think he wants to be finesse over toughness, and that gets him into some trouble sometimes, because I don't feel like the Packers can win an ugly game.
I do think they can win an ugly game. I just think that the execution is so poor right now.
I feel like I have to see them win an ugly game before I believe they can win an ugly game. Like it's like, I don't want to say that they can't do it, but like I feel like I need to see it to believe it.
That's fair. I get it. You go ahead now. I got everything out.
So I will give Matt LaFleur credit. He made a good choice on the special teams penalty to have him back it up 5 yards and re-kick. That was a good choice. My thing, I have two things really. Stop waiting until our back is against the wall to open up the offense. Stop waiting until we're down by 10 points to take the fucking training wheels off of Jordan Love. Look, we get down by 10. Matt LaFleur opens up the playbook. Packers go right down the fucking field and score a touchdown. Right down the field. Like, how do you see that and then be like, all right, here we go. We're going to New York. Time to establish the run. Like, I get wanting to establish the run. Josh Jacobs is one of the best running backs in the NFL. Why does he refuse to run more play action? And I have receipts on this, and I'm going to share them. But you have a running back who is getting hit, like to Simon's points and statistics, behind the line of scrimmage at 42% of his rushes?
Yeah.
Why don't you fake some of those runs to him, get the defense to suck up, throw the ball over their heads, and then they have to worry about it and be like, oh, shit. Take some of the pressure off the running offense. Take some of the pressure off the offensive line with run blocking. Like, and also put the ball in the hands of your $55 million a year quarterback who can take you down the field. Like, we can all see he's talented. He makes some bad decisions once in a while, and I think that's partially a product of feeling like he has to make big plays on a couple chances that he actually gets to throw the ball down the field. Now, before I get into the statistics of why I want so much more play action, I still think it's an opportunity for the Packers to be better. So the first stat that I'm going to share here, this was actually shared to make fun of JJ McCarthy, but which is funny and everything. It's great. But I want to call attention to the upper right-hand corner where Jordan Love is essentially the fourth best quarterback in quarterback efficiency when it comes to expected points added per play and completion percentage above expected. He's above average in these metrics. And you can see with all the dots, he's one of the best in the NFL. Like, I get that people don't like that he's going to have these occasional interceptions and shit happens. But how can you, and I guarantee you that the Packers front office has these numbers, see this stuff and be like, all right, we got to make sure that he's throwing the ball 20 times from 10 yards and in. Like, why are we not leaning into Jordan Love, the guy who in the preseason, 4 or 5 national people are going to be like, I think Jordan Love could be an MVP candidate this year. And then Matt LaFleur is like, no, we got to rein him back. And the thing with this is, and when as far as play action goes, is, so I want to make sure I get the right screenshot up first. So this is play action in the NFL. The top guys on here: Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. Good for him. I will say their offense has been good. They're playing bad teams though. Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Drake May, Bryce Young, Geno Smith, and then Jordan Love. So right here, let's just look at this. It's Rams, Colts, Chargers, Broncos, Bears, Cowboys, Lions, Chiefs. Okay, remember all those team names. Points scored in the NFL: Colts, Lions, Seahawks, Patriots, Cowboys, Rams, Bills, Chargers, Bears, Chiefs, Broncos. The only guy who really has a claim to be more pissed off than Jordan Love of why they're not running more play action is Sam Darnold, and I don't think he's complaining with the Seahawks sitting at 7-2. Why? The numbers are there. The eye test is there. The Packers run 2 play action plays last night. They immediately rip off huge chunks. It's not a fucking secret.
The Eagles are the 32nd ranked defense against play action. Yeah. They're the worst defense against play action. We ran 2 fucking play action plays.
There was a total of 5 play action plays. And Jordan Love completed 4 of the 5 for 48 yards. For an average of 9.6 yards per pass and 12 yards per completion.
Is that good?
76 total. He had 48 on 5 plays. Dude, I swear to God, I'll hit Matt LaFleur with the biggest frying pan ever, dude. I swear to God, I'm so mad right now. Are you kidding me right now?
Seems excessive.
I can figure this out from my couch,
Oh God. Oh.
Why can this not be figured out by an NFL coaching staff?
And then he's sitting on the sidelines while the defense is on the field, not even watching.
Which is fine. He doesn't need to have any input on the defense. Hastly had that locked down.
He asked everybody. He's literally the head coach.
Brad said, so are you saying Matt LaFleur should be replaced? It sounds like it. I'm not saying he needs to be replaced. I will say I do agree with the kind of consensus among like the beat writers is that he's coaching for his job. I do tend to lean to agree with Simon that he's not going to be fired in the middle of the season. Nor do I think while the Packers are in the playoff picture, should he be. But it's very much like a thing in the offseason where it's like, all right, the Packers have decided not to extend the contract to Matt LaFleur. I'm not going to be shocked if this kind of trend continues. And I just want to pull up one more stat that I shared with the guys earlier and said that I was going to reference it. It's another play action stat. So this is the last stat that I want to share before we start talking about Jordan Love. So Dair Carragher tweeted out this morning, after 5 games, the Packers ranked 3rd in the NFL in play action rate, and Jordan Love had a 128 passer rating on those play action passes.
Is that good?
4 games since, they ranked 29th in the NFL in play action usage. So it's not that Jordan Love isn't doing anything. It's just that they're not running plays. And this is to something where I'm going to give Jake credit because he said it before that it feels like LaFleur is potentially holding things back. Putting your players in a position to succeed, it's there. And yes, Brad, it's not that he can't figure it out. It's that he just isn't doing it. It happened for the first 4 games of the season when we beat the shit out of the Lions and the Commanders in the first 2 weeks of the season. There's time for him to figure it out, and the evidence is there, but like, put it on the field and stop waiting until we're down by 10 points to do it. Because like Jake said, I mean, the offense in the second half was better.
It was.
When it was more open, when the backs were against the wall, unfortunately. So again, it's not that he needs to be replaced. I do have a solution when we get into it's not a fix-all solution, but I do have an idea when we get into the preview. So let's talk about Jordan Love. Simon, how did you feel about Jordan Love?
I don't know. I think it was a tough game under pressure. I think he'd like to have a lot of those plays back. When he was pressured, Love completed just 3 of his 12 passes for 21 yards. He was sacked 3 times and fumbled the ball. It was the 3rd highest pressure rate in a game this season for the Eagles. I don't know. I struggle with really evaluating Love on this game because I feel like there's just so many miscues at inopportune moments where even if half those things didn't happen, I think we're looking at Jordan Love in a very different light than what we currently are looking at him. And you understand that like things happen during football games. There's a lot of things that go on, things that are seen, things that are not seen, things that players do and don't do. And, an inch to the right and that's a catch or whatever the case is. And it just, I don't know. It seems like this offense is in a funk right now. And I'm trying, I don't believe a lot of it is due to Jordan Love. In my opinion, I know it's easy to look at the QB and be like, oh, it's his fault. We've only scored, 17 points over the past 2 weeks against 2 very beatable teams. I mean, yeah, some
problem at all.
Huh?
I don't think Jordan Love's the problem at all.
I don't think he's the main problem. I think there are some opportunities for him to play better, is the way I'll phrase it. But it's hard for me to watch both these games and be like, wow, Jordan Love is just not, he's the reason we're losing, or he's the reason we're not moving the ball well or putting up points or whatever. There's a lot of other things that are going on that hold the offense back right now. And I think At worst, the worst thing I can say about Jordan Love in this game is like when the pressure got to him, I feel like there were some times where he didn't wait long enough for the play to develop, and if he just like maybe kept his eye up, he might have hit Romeo Doubs on a crosser for 15 plus yards instead of scrambling for 6 or whatever the case is.
I mean, he could have had Wicks in the middle of the field towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
So wide open too, bro.
Yep. And I think those things do happen. It's hard to say because we don't know what read it was. We don't know how close the guy. Well, I can't tell how close the guys are to him on any given play to where I feel like he has to make a decision that he does. But overall, I'm not placing the onus of these games on Jordan Love. The numbers don't look good. I get it, but the numbers don't also tell the whole story.
Yeah. Like I said, we're talking about a couple drops and a missed penalty that could have added 100 yards to his day.
Yep.
And who knows what happens after those plays if they're made.
Yep.
Jake, what did you want to say about Jordan Love?
All right, the first thing I said is Love has to trust his wide receivers, and Matt has to trust his quarterback. Matt needs to draw up some quick hitters, I think, because pressure was definitely bothering Jordan Love. I had some of the same points that Simon had, but I did write down, to be fair, the O-line needs to be a lot better than it has been the last couple weeks. Love was pressured on 40.5% of his dropbacks last night. He was sacked 3 times and hit 8 other times. So, yes, he was feeling the pressure. He was, as Sam Darnold said one time, I felt like he was seeing ghosts at certain times.
It was not that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
No, I mean the seeing ghosts game. That game was. I don't know if you remember exactly.
Yeah, I remember.
That game was. That game was hard to watch for him.
Just going off on a random tangent, he literally. We're talking. Darnold, he literally took the Baker Mayfield career arc, bro. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna suck here, and then when I get to a good coach, I'm gonna turn out to be good. Yeah. But anyways, both are in the NFC, and both are really good now. That's another reason not to give up on Jordan Love, by the way. Maybe people are too quick to give up on things. Maybe people are scared to dig in and actually deal with the repercussions of growing pains, right? That happens. But
I definitely think there's a something to be said for people choosing the unknown over adversity.
There's definitely a middle ground in there somewhere that there's a beautiful picture in the middle of it. Personally, I 100% agree with you. It's hard to evaluate Jordan Love in this game because there was just so many things going on. We talked about multiple times about not being able to line up, drop passes, play calls. I mean, offensive line was bad. I mean, you're losing wide receivers left and right. I mean, this is your first game without Tucker Kraft. I mean, so many things happened. I just think that some slant routes would help because the short routes that we run are always those freaking out routes. Whenever we need 5 yards or 4 yards or 3 yards, it's always an out route, dude. Why can't we run a freaking back shoulder? Why can't we run a slant? Why can't we run?
I do like the quick outs, like right outside the marks. Like those, I feel like Jordan Love is really good.
He is.
But like I get what you're saying on the slants and stuff like that.
Dude, we don't have one guy that can run a slant, bro. You can't tell me that Matthew Golden can't run a fucking slant. Like, what are we doing?
Dude, Christian Watson, like you said, is a perfect guy to do it. He's 6'5".
You just have to get inside, bro.
I mean, Alan Lazard made a living off of running slant routes and blocking.
Dude, you can't split out Musgrave. You can't tell me he's not athletic enough to split out into the slot. You can't be one of those guys and run a fucking slant, dude. Like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah. Like you guys said, Love missed a couple chances. I think there was a lot of times where he made the right play and guys let him down. Like the Dobbs catch, the Melton drop, the rare mistake of Josh Jacobs turning in the wrong direction, turning towards a defender instead of away. Yeah. If Josh Jacobs turns towards the sideline, he's got a catch and nobody's touching him for 12 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an opportunity cost thing. It sucks. I mean, having 2 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
that's another thing that counts as 2 incompletions. But I will say, Jordan Love, 0 turnover worthy plays. So there's that. The last thing we can say is the end of the game, the 64-yard field goal decision. And this ties into the coaching, and obviously it's part of what you feel about Jordan Love in that situation. Matt LaFleur said he did consider running a Hail Mary. But to me, and obviously having a hurt kicker makes this decision even harder, is do you believe that the offensive line can give Jordan Love enough time to throw a Hail Mary to your 4th, 2nd, and 6th and 7th wide receivers and Luke Musgrave? Or do you think you have a better shot at a 64-yard field goal?
I'm going to be 100% honest. I wanted him to throw the Hail Mary.
Me too. I really want.
That's my opinion. It has nothing to do with who's on the, because Hail Marys are what they are. They're Hail Marys. It doesn't matter what wide receivers you have out on the field. I said it as they took what happened. Like they took a timeout, or the Eagles took a timeout, right?
Yep.
I said as soon as they came off the field, I would have rather them take a Hail Mary shot.
Bro, 2 of the guys you just named, one is 6'5" with elite athleticism. The other guy's 6'6" with elite athleticism. Throw the fucking thing up, dude. I'm not kicking a 64-yarder in 12 degrees, bro. You're going to kick a fucking brick 64 yards? No.
To me, it's more about the offensive line, to be honest with you. And yes, Brad, anything can happen on a Hail Mary. And I don't have the percentages in front of me of what the conversion rate on a Hail Mary versus a touchdown or a 64-yard field goal is. That's probably not great in either direction. But the point for going for the Hail Mary is if you get it, you win. Versus if you hit the 64-yard field goal, you're going to overtime. So there's something there as well. So that's one where, like, I'm not mad at that decision. I understand it, but I can also see the other side of the coin. Okay. Anything else you guys want to say on the Eagles game?
That was
that's part of it too, Brad.
That was the whole. If McManus didn't get hurt, I think I would have been more okay with him kicking a 64-yard try.
If it was Havrasik, would you have attempted the field goal?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And like we said that in the special teams, like if McManus is still telling you that he's still recovering, like why has he been playing for the last 3 weeks when you have a perfectly serviceable backup who played really well the 2 weeks before?
You're using a spot for it. Just make him play, dude. Seriously.
I will say,
like, they could have put McManus on IR. He could have taken his sweet time getting healthy,
dude.
Yeah, but you know how it is for like special teams players, though. Is like
not dudes that are signed to 3-year, $15 million deals.
Yeah, but $5 million guaranteed. They could easily get rid of him next year. No, not really a super harmful thing, in my opinion. Just looking at where we're at with cap space and stuff, it wouldn't hurt us that bad. I'm just saying, throwing out there. I also like devil's advocate too. We don't know what Havrasik looks like in practice either, because they pinned him up against each other this week. He could have went out there and like kicked like crap during practice, and they were like, "We're not running this," and that's very, very possible.
And I did say that to Bryant last night too. Like Havrasik was a free agent when we picked him up for a reason.
Yep. Yeah, I skipped a lot of those messages. I'll be 100% honest with you. I didn't want to hear it.
Dude, when I'm mad and you guys are going crazy in there, I'm like, hell no, I'm not reading this shit.
That's what I do.
I'm pissed off myself, bro.
I skipped about 20 of Bryant's messages.
It's obviously it's easier with the benefit of hindsight, seeing McManus miss a couple kicks the last 2 weeks, and then people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's missed 3 in a row with 3 games in a row with it." It's like the one this week was a 64-yarder.
Yeah, that's kind of fair too, Brad. The kick right before they took a timeout, he was short, but honestly, that kick wasn't that bad. just seeing it. I know it sounds stupid, but he was only a couple yards short, and they gave him the opportunity to kind of get a feel for it. I don't know what happened during that kick. I'll be 100% honest with you. It was so wild because I thought it got blocked initially. But I
think he yanked it like he's the two that he missed.
Yeah.
Which
I saw
again,
I saw him kicking. And I was like, all right, we can go.
It's one of those situations where whatever your feeling is on it, you can make a justification. And what I think is really, really funny about that situation is Bill Huber before the game was tweeting out one of the Packers kickers was out kicking before the game and making a bunch of kicks from 40, 50-ish. And he tweeted that it was Havrasek out here making kicks, and people fell for it. And people were like, Matt LaFleur's holding this guy hostage, and they still refuse to play him. About 10 minutes later, Bill Huber tweets out, sorry, this was McManus.
I will say, when he came up for the second half and you watch him do their warm-up kicks, he was hitting from 50-plus pretty freaking easily, to be honest with you. And from both directions. Because, they switch sides and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was hitting. So I think – and the out route before that, too, dude. Like, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
That was ugly.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those things where, okay, in my mind, this is how I perceived it, is if it's not there right away, just chuck the ball away. And because you don't want to waste time.
He had, 5 seconds?
Because Jordan Love looked up and it wasn't there. He had to toss it away.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't think there's time to make a second read on that. And they saw it happen against the Cowboys. Like, they were down to 1 second away from losing that game, too. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, now that we've had 2 ugly games in a row to move on from, let's move on to Packers-Giants. And Jake, I'll let you go first. What are you looking for from the Packers defense on Sunday against the Giants?
Yeah, so first game of 4 straight noon kickoffs. So I'm kind of nice, actually. I'm looking forward to having some early games coming up here. Packers defense, they've been doing a really nice job keeping scores low and keeping the Packers in games, giving them a chance to win. So got nothing to complain about there. Now, when you're thinking about you're going against the other offense, you got to think about a few things. One, you got to think about matchups, right? And the one guy that's been kind of going crazy this year for the Giants has been Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's been really, really good. He's been a little bit more higher target with Jackson Dart in the game. He's getting a lot more targets, catching a lot more passes. And then early in the season, the first couple of games of the year, when Russell Wilson was in there, dude, you don't know how many times I called him Russell Westbrook today. So I'm very proud because Russell Westbrook had a crazy highlight the other day. But anyways, Russell Wilson, when he was in there with Wan'Dale Robinson was mainly just like a deep route. Like he was throwing a lot of deep bombs. That's kind of Russell's thing, last couple seasons. Really not too worried about anything from their running game because Tracy is like the most mid running back I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And Dart does add to the run game.
When Devin Singletary's right there?
Singletary has actually had good games.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
He still had good games. I've never seen Tracy control an entire game.
He had a couple of good games last year.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Somebody had to get the goddamn ball on their offense, okay? I do not count that as a good game.
What are you talking about, dude?
Bro, it's just like when Gilbert Arenas was scoring 20 on the Wizards when they were winning 15 games. Somebody has to score. That doesn't make him good. I'm sorry. He just had high volume. But anyway.
No, he had a couple of good games last year.
Hey, all right. Last year against Seattle, he had 18 for 129. That's a 7.2 yard average. Like, I would say overall he's very average, but he's had a couple good games.
That's what I said. I didn't say he was really great.
He's not good, but he's had good games.
Yes, that's what I said. He had 18 for 103 and a touchdown versus Carolina last year.
Carolina sucks, but anyway.
Fuck, we played them 33-30 the year before.
Well, all right. Pittsburgh last year, 20 for 145 and a touchdown.
Okay, he got on a hot streak. It is what it is. Okay.
So he had a couple good games.
What did he do other than that?
No,
that's why we're saying he's not good, but he's had good games. Sounds like we're on the same page.
Sounds like you need to shut the fuck up and try to talk. Fuckers.
All right, rant on about Devin Singletary and how much you love him.
Oh my god, I can't even get a paragraph out with these son of a bitches. I don't know if Jackson Dart's playing. That's the main point I was trying to get to. You guys can go now.
Probably.
Jeez, man, I can't even finish what I'm saying around here.
Oh, you profess love for Devin
Hold on.
Singletary on the podcast. You deserve to be publicly shamed.
Just don't be wrong next time. I won't have to correct you.
Anymore.
Jake, did you hear me?
No, I'm ignoring
I said don't be wrong and I won't have to correct you.
Oh, if I corrected you every time you were wrong, this show would never end.
That's some good cope right there.
I'm just kidding, obviously. I was wrong. My fault.
Wait,
all right.
no.
For me,
all right, I'm out of
seven.
shit.
I'm looking for them to keep being disruptive against the run. The Giants unfortunately lost Scatabo. It's one of those things where it's like you want to see the other team's best players. If you're looking to see Packers Giants, it's like, oh, Packers versus Scatabo, like that'll be good. Tyrone Tracy did average 5.1 yards per carry, but only had 27 yards after contact on 14 carries. Ooh. So I feel that if Green Bay can get their hands on him, they can cut that number significantly down. And I did literally write in my notes, I'm not just saying this to make fun of Jake, I literally wrote in my notes that Devin Singletary is washed.
He's been on, how many teams has he been on the last couple of years?
11.
Whoa.
No. I think he went from the Bills to the Texans to the Giants.
Yes. That sounds right.
Oh, yeah, it does sound right, yeah.
Yeah. He's still washed. David said I saw Tracy have some good games.
David, did anybody ask you?
That's why we do the show live, Jake.
I'm just kidding, David. You, brother.
All right, Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense?
I thought we were going to talk offense first. My bad. So they're 26th in the league in sacks allowed per game with 3.1. So I'm looking for Parsons and company to make probably Russell Wilson. We're still waiting. I haven't seen anything about Jackson Dart being out for the game. I think he's still
playing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So one thing with Jackson Dart, every time I watch him, he's taking a nasty hit.
Yep,
and
I did put that in the notes.
He takes some daring hits. I'm like, dude, you gotta like slide or throw the ball away or something. But if he does play, that is one thing that they're gonna have to watch. He's good at scrambling. That dude he picks some pretty good times to move. So looking at Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper to kind of spy a little bit. And then if it is Russell Wilson, I think one thing Russell Wilson does pretty well is why are you smiling like that?
Laughing at David's comment.
Wilson can still throw a pretty good deep ball. Not that they really have anyone. You said Wan'Dale Robinson, or I like Theo Johnson a little bit. That's about all.
Pretty much names all their good players, yeah.
Yeah, that was all of them.
Jeez, David.
I'll talk about some of the injuries in a little bit. As far as special teams goes, I'm fine with another game like last week. Just be average. Just don't cost the game, and you're fine. I have no complaints about the returns. I have no complaints with Keyshawn Nixon taking a late fair catch. That's just a situation where it's like, all right, go out there. We're just going to give the ball to the offense. Don't fuck up trying to do anything hero-ish, Ty Montgomery style, like stuff like that. Yes, David Bellinger has been decent. He was actually another tight end that we all liked coming out of the draft, which reminds me we didn't say anything about Josh Wiley, who was used kind of more like a fullback than a tight end, but had some nice blocks in the running game. But
I guess I didn't say his name, but yeah.
Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
Did you guys know that Jackson Dart, this is his fourth concussion this season? That dude's there's no way he gets cleared this week.
They cannot.
I'm sorry. There's no way.
Protect him at some point.
Yeah, I think there's no way they try him out this week.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like.
No, me neither.
Be like inconsiderate of what just happened to, Dallas player, forgetting his name.
Wieland.
Marshawn Nealon.
Marshawn Nealon. When you're bashing your head consistently for 15 years leading up to your NFL career, some things are going to happen to your brain, dude, and you got to start taking this shit more serious. 4th concussion, dude?
Yeah, since preseason.
Jesus
I just, they got to take
he
care
looks like
of him.
he's the real deal. So if he's a franchise guy, you got to protect him. Bro, you're 2-8. Come on now.
Yeah. That's tough, man. I didn't know that until I was reading. And it is kind of sometimes hard to clear concussion protocol going into the exact following week. I guess it depends on the severity of the concussion too. Offensively, Giants have the 2nd worst run defense in the league, allowing 152 yards per game on the ground. Man, if this isn't a get right game for the rushing offense, I don't know what is. The pass catching room's also a little banged up. I'm looking for Matt LaFleur to lean on Jacobs and Wilson to move the ball down the field. That being said, I think they have one of the best pass rushing rooms in the NFL with Burns, Thibodeau, and Carter. So just I think Zach Tom and Walker have been pretty decent. Or Zach Tom's always good, but Walker's been pretty decent in pass protection G's this year. So just kind of holding those guys at bay.
So I swore I saw it somewhere that Jackson Dart was like gonna be like able to play, and that the NFL saw no wrongdoing with him not being pulled out soon enough.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember who tweeted that out to be able to be like, yep, here's where I saw it. But I saw it this morning, and I was fairly sure that he was going to play. It sounded like they were going to play. They were going to play him, but
I don't think anybody's doubting you. I just think that Simon and I are saying that you got to protect him at some point because, like, if you want this guy to be the franchise guy, he's looking very good. I mean, if he doesn't go out of that game, they probably beat Chicago on Sunday. To be honest with you, they were rolling.
Right.
You want me just to go?
Yeah.
So this is what I wrote down. We all know the struggles from the offense last few weeks, and a lot has to do with struggles up front. Clearly, the strength of the Giants' defense is in their front 7. They obviously have Sexy Dexy, guy's one of the best D tackles in the NFL. So Matt will have to scheme some quick routes open. What happened to Dontavian Wicks being Devontae Adams 2.0? What happened to that? If Golden's available this week, I would love to see him on some crossers, some short crossers, shallow crossers, whatever you want to call them, slants, whatever you want. Just get the ball in the kid's hands, honestly. Let's see what he can do. People talking about, he's just part of the offense. All right, force feed him one time. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, can't go wrong at this point, honestly.
I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to see what Matthew Golden looks like in an offense without Tucker Kraft.
Right. So that's pretty much my point.
Yeah.
They have a starter in the slot named Andrew Phillips. He's their normal starter in the slot. I don't know the injury report. Didn't check that. He has 9 penalties this year. He's allowed 2 touchdowns, and he has 6 missed tackles from the slot position. Their other corner, Dante Banks, he's the left cornerback usually. So he has 22 total targets, 6 penalties, 1 pass breakup, and 2 touchdowns given up. In the last 4 weeks, he's given up 13 of 14, 173 yards, 173 out of his 269 on the season been given up the last 4 weeks. And that is 64% of his season total. He's given up a touchdown, and he has 0 pass breakups. This is just the last 4 weeks. So you're talking at Denver, at Philly, San Francisco without their starting quarterback, and at Chicago. Those aren't the teams that are really lighting it on fire. Quite literally, Chicago's probably the best offense they faced in the last 4 weeks. Denver, Philly,
and maybe
Denver, San Francisco is really just a McCaffrey show.
Yeah.
So outside of that, Simon already brought up that they have the most rush yards allowed, 1,521 total, 152.1 per game. They also give up the second most rushing touchdowns. They also give up the most yards per rush at 5.5. They also have given up the 5th most passing yards allowed in the league at 2,309. This defense is bad. We talk a lot about get right games, Tyler, for the Bucs and the Brewers. This is just what the doctor ordered, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson Dart is out.
Oh, yeah. My thing with the offense, I asked the question is who wants to step up? Like we saw Romeo Doubs get banged up. Who wants to play their way into a bigger role? Who wants to vocally say something that they want a bigger role? Because that's one of the things we lost with Tucker Kraft, too, is a vocal leader. It's talked about pretty often. So who wants to go in there and be like, I'm the guy we should give the ball to? Or, in a situation where it's like, a third and long or a fourth down in a tough situation, like who is going to step up and be like, I want the ball? That I want to know who that guy is. I don't want guys like, I'm just trying to play my role. Like if you want to be the guy, like say you want to be the guy. I want to see somebody step up like that. I'd love it to be Christian Watson. I would love him to step up and be like, hey, I understand that there's a void right now. I want to be the guy. And I think he can. And that it's something that, people in the offseason were talking about cutting Christian Watson. I don't think that's something the Packers should do because every time he's on the field, healthy, he's electric. He can make big plays. So keep an eye on the center position. Unfortunately, Elton Jenkins is being put on IR, and I think the Packers are probably just going to go with Sean Ryan at center. He will have the week to prepare. David agrees with me that Watson 100% can. And I think Ryan's going to be the guy going forward at center for the foreseeable future. I don't really foresee anybody on the roster beating him out for it. Yeah, Scott, it's not even that it's disgusting. That was last week. This week it was just, I think, more missed opportunities and more conservative play calling, especially in the first half. As far as the red zone, we better get multiple chances in the red zone this week. Unless we're scoring several long, deep touchdowns, I'd like to see 4 or 5 touchdowns coming in the red zone. The Giants are the 31st ranked red zone defense, allowing 70.6% of red zone trips to end in touchdowns. So definitely going to be needing the Packers to get into the red zone and then move on from that. Okay. As far as coaching goes, I know I've said this. I showed the stats. I showed the screenshots. Like, I am begging for play action. One of the best running backs in the league. Team will bite. You can take some of the pressure off the O-line. Then you can run the ball. Like, try using play action in the passing game to set up the run game once. David said losing our all-pro guard and not signing Myers.
I'm not going to say anything because I was the only one that wanted to re-sign Myers to a 1-year deal.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. So Dave and I were arguing with this dude earlier, and this guy said we moved our all-pro guard to center and lost Josh Myers. Jenkins has never been an all-pro. He's been the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowler.
Yes, but he's never been all-pro.
Yes,
and the dude, and then Dave and I pointed out to the dude that he's never been all-pro or in a sort of fashion, and the dude deleted his post. Oh, that was before calling everyone in our fan base idiots, too.
Oh, good times. Love that.
And
That's always something that really intelligent people say.
Also, Josh Myers is not good. Like, can we please stop pretending?
I mean,
I don't know where people
Ryan, to be fair.
I don't know where people are getting this notion. And I understand the bank signing has been disappointing so far, and Jenkins plays better at left guard, but I would still rather have Banks and Jenkins over what we had last year, over Jenkins and Myers. That's my opinion. I know it's not maybe popular, and I'm willing to give Banks a little bit of time. I think he's just been banged up, and it's been kind of unlucky going so far. And he hasn't played super well, but I think overall those two are an upgrade over the other two.
Scott asked how many linemen are left to play. I mean, there's still five guys that I trust to be serviceable / good. Rasheed Walker was the Packers. David corrected the grammar while people are calling people idiots too. Gotta love that. I think Rasheed Walker was the Packers' highest graded offensive player last week.
Yep.
We know Zach Tom has all the potential in the world. Jordan Morgan was a first-round pick. Sean Ryan has had inconsistent playing time and inconsistent performance. But there's definitely flashes that he can be, again, serviceable, decent. and Aaron Banks was brought here to be a good run blocker.
Sean Ryan's going to get a second
that,
contract somewhere.
Yeah. And then after that, you still have Darian Kennard, who I think is okay in a pinch, and Anthony Belton, who was a second-round pick this year. So, I mean, they still have some guys left to play on the line, Scott. It's just you don't want to be losing one of your top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so before we move on, the last thing I want to say on coaching, I told you guys I had an idea, and my idea is to bring in Brian Dable as an offensive consultant for 2 reasons. One, it's pretty clear that Matt LaFleur needs a fresh perspective on the offense, and 2, we're about to go up against the team that just fired him.
I'm not a Dable guy.
I'm not saying we need to bring him on as the co-offensive coordinator and give him play calling duties, but
yeah,
I mean, he's an offensive minded guy who's not busy right now.
That's true.
Oh, and also we're not bringing John Gruden. Can we please stop? Oh my gosh.
There are 2 football teams in Wisconsin that people want him to be the head coach of.
Oh my gosh. Can we not? I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Shit, we might as well just bring Mike McCarthy back at that point.
I've seen him floated around.
I have too.
And I was like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
No way you said that out loud.
Nothing like your current girlfriend driving you back to your ex. Jesus.
Yeah. I need closure.
Just needed to see if I didn't still love him. All right. Injury designations to watch. We talked about a bunch of them already. Obviously, the wide receivers, Dobbs and Golden for the Packers. Wicks, hopefully we can see him playing more next week, being more involved. I mean, he did still have the 6 targets, but Nate Hobbs, maybe. I mean, they said he was going to be out at least 2 weeks, so maybe this is the week that he's back. Obviously, I said Elton Jenkins went to IR, and then I am desperately hoping to get Lucas Van Ness back. Not that the defense is bad last week or the week before, but nothing can be hurt by adding a guy to help make you better. I think that if LVN is back, I think the Packers could be in positions where they could shut out a bad team like the Giants. And I don't feel that that's a bold take to say. Scott agrees. We can't fire Matt. He's a good coach. We need more play action. I think they can fire him, but they don't need to. They need to get back to fucking running play action before I pull my hair out, seeing other teams do it like the Colts, and then they just go fucking right down the field and score a whole bunch. Jake, what's the weather going to be like?
So on November 16th, 2025 in New York City, rain showers early with some sunshine later in the day, high 59 degrees. Wind west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 60%. That sounds like a Josh Jacobs, bro.
Yeah, that sounds like a Josh Jacobs game.
Honestly,
you know what?
Hey,
let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. It could be 90 degrees and sunny, and Matt LaFleur would be like, "That sounds like a Josh Jacobs game."
I mean, not bad to lean on one of your best players, in my opinion.
and I get that, but let's mix it up at least a little bit. We don't need to be running the same play 4 times in one game to the point that the defense knows that it's coming.
Ugh.
Why'd you bring that up?
Yeah. You seen me sad or
just a quick jab? I didn't feel the need to hammer on it. Simon, who's your X factor?
Interior offensive line. They gotta be better. I think this is the 4th week in a row I've said that. I don't know. I don't know. But if we're gonna run the ball, then it has to be behind the interior offensive line, and they just gotta put together a good game.
Scott said, "Do we need to put McManus on notice yet?" We talked about it at length in the special teams segments. So, Jake, who is your X factor?
The X factor is finding a rhythm offensively. I don't care what it is. Running to set up reaction, passing on early downs, so you want to stay ahead of the chains. Just finding that balance, whatever it is. And I talked myself into it. I literally wrote this down. I talked myself into it. I guess that means Josh Jacobs is the X factor.
All right. I actually picked one from the Giants. My X factor is Jackson Dart. If he plays, even if he does play, keep an eye on him. He gets hit once, and we could be looking at Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston.
I think if Dable puts in Jameis instead of Russ last
Well,
week,
it's not going to be
Dable's not
Dable
the
doing
coach.
it.
It's who's
I said
interim?
last week.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. Trying to catch me slipping again, motherfuckers.
yes.
Yeah. Come at me again.
As far as honestly, I feel like Jackson Dart is kind of their only hope offense.
Kafka. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't even remember who their offense coordinator was.
Yeah.
I know he's the
Nobody
intern
cares.
now.
Moving on. Simon, what is your score prediction from the head?
30-17.
All right. I have 27-17. As if the Packers need to score 27 and another win.
Fair.
True.
I don't have that much respect for the Giants offense. I have 26-9.
Interesting. Simon, what do you got from the heart?
40-14.
Holy shit.
I have 2 fewer points for each team. I have 38-12.
Damn, I have 30-0.
Shit.
I mean, I could see it.
I
can too,
absolutely could. And if we want to get into some Simon Says, I'll throw one out there. I want to see an angry offense drop 45 points.
Hell yeah. I'm serious. I think this is
the Giants' defense is so bad.
Yep, I'm with it.
This is a game where like I'm confident that the Packers are going to win. Like 90% confident the Packers are going to win because there's obviously the any given Sunday thing, which we've seen. Like the Saints just beat the Panthers, who beat the Packers last week. But
God, I'm so tired of that.
This is one of those games where it's like I feel like this is a going to win, but I want to destroy somebody.
Yeah. I feel like the Packers need that to get a little bit of swagger back too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They need to get some get back.
Yeah, I agree. You have one, Simon?
No, I kind of didn't write any down this week.
All right. Well, I was clearly upset at Matt LaFleur when I wrote this down, so I wrote score in the first quarter.
You had to say that?
Dude, they literally haven't done it for like a month and a half, dude.
I think
Wait,
it's been 5
seriously?
weeks.
When did they do it last? They didn't do it against
Carolina.
Dallas.
When did we play Dallas? Week 4?
Dang, yeah, I think you're right. I think I
It's literally been like 6 weeks, bro.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad.
They didn't do it against Arizona, right?
No, I don't think so.
Um,
Because it was what 6-13 at half or something like that, or 3-13.
First points against Arizona was in the second quarter.
Yep.
Cincinnati, they scored at the 14:09 mark of the second quarter.
So it doesn't count the first.
But yeah, Dallas was the last time.
Oh,
So it's been 5 games, but it's been 6 weeks.
that's bad.
Dude, okay, so I was mad at LaFleur, but it was actually a good one. Here we go, man. We ride. We ride. Let's go.
That is very bold of you, sir.
Dude, at this point, it is bold.
Yeah.
It's legit bold.
Yeah. My defensive one was no points.
Yeah, I could see it. I could easily see it.
I would love this to be last year's Saints game where it's just like, okay, like yeah, the Packers can do what they should do on paper to a bad team.
I don't remember the Saints game.
But 30-0.
Oh, was that last year?
I don't remember that.
Because the year before was the crazy
The
comeback.
comeback, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. My defensive one is the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
Packers have a strip sack and a pick six.
I remember that game now because Kamara didn't play.
Yep.
And it was Spencer Rattler.
Yep. I was in a suite for that. That's why I remember it vividly.
That's right. What did you say, Jake?
I said the Packers defense has a strip sack and a pick six.
That'd be sick. Yeah, we need a pick.
Yeah. Scott, I agree. If we play down to the Giants, it's gonna be a rough go.
Same. Yeah, you'll see a guy that's pretty optimistic starting out being not optimistic if we played out.
I have to push the show back to a different day next week if that's the case.
Yo.
All righty. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Another Tuesday evening. We'll have Bryant back. And again, we want to say a happy Veterans Day to those veterans, including Simon and Bryant. We'll be back next week with the recap for the Packers and Giants. And other than that, go Pack, go. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Pack.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.